Hey, what's up, online community? And thanks for stopping by and checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where we talk sports and culture for fans, oftentimes with the fans. Now, the last couple of weeks, we've been really gaining some really good momentum because we're seeing a shift in a number of different things as it relates to social issues taking place across the country. And why not continue to have that conversation, have that dialogue? And joining me today is none other than Joshua Short. He's a member of the media. He is an anchor, a news anchor, a reporter. He's got roots here in the Chicagoland area, but now he works in Northwest Indiana. So, Straight No Chaser audience, I'd like to present to you Joshua Short. And also, I have to admit, I'm a little bit biased because Joshua was a family member, and I've seen this young man grow and evolve, both as an individual, but also a member of the media. So, Joshua, welcome to Straight No Chaser.
Hey, and let's be transparent too. You're my older cousin, so it makes sense. This is
Facts.
We've been wanting to do this for a long time, haven't we?
For those fans out there that are familiar with Straight No Chaser, before we get into it, grab your favorite libation, shot, cocktail, coffee. We're about to get into a Straight No Chaser. Salud.
Salud. I can't tell you what's in this, by the way.
You know what? Those who tell don't know, and those who know better not tell.
So, well said. Well said.
And I kind of want to shift our conversation and start to talk about some of the positive things that are coming from what's transpiring across the country as we're starting to have these discussions with race and religion. I know that was one of the things that had come up, Coach Dick in his comments and so forth. But, I think one of the challenges beyond people moving beyond their wall is the lack of empathy that people are able to show, just as in general. Mm-hmm. Being able to, because it hasn't happened to me, still understanding or still respecting the fact that it is an issue or that these are challenges that this particular demographic is facing. And I see that we're starting to have, especially amongst the young people now. And I say young people because here at Straight No Chaser, we do not age discriminate. I just use the term younger because I'm in my late 40s. Make sure we throw that disclaimer out there. Straight No Chaser disclaimer. But one of the things that we're seeing with younger people in particular is more empathy, more being able to see themselves, or not even if they're not able to see themselves, at least respect the challenges that other demographics are going through. That's something that we're not seeing, unfortunately, and part of it could be people being set in their ways or based on their experiences, but we're not seeing that with as many older people with voices as we are with younger people. When I look at the protests and things like that, you see a lot of younger people out there. You see a lot of younger people on the front lines, and these people really haven't experienced the same level of oppression. Like I said, my generation is the first generation to really have full rights and freedoms, but you see them having a value interest in the future. And I think that level of empathy is what's able to carry forward their energy, being able to see themselves or respect the challenges that other people go through. I use a perfect example. I'm not a member of the LGBTQ community, but I can empathize with their challenges and their struggle. So just because it doesn't affect me every day what they go through, I'm able to still support them. I'm still able to empathize with them and support them with whichever way I can that's comfortable for me, whether it be monetarily, whether it's sharing information, whether it's having them as guests and hosts, things like that. I don't have female reproductive organs, but I can empathize with women and reproductive rights because, again, that's a demographic. I can support them by, signing petitions, reaching out to elected officials as it relates to supporting reproductive rights, things like that. So you don't have to be someone directly impacted by specific challenges in order to still support a cause. And I think that's one of the things that younger people, and again, no age discrimination here at Straight No Chaser. I'm only speaking relative to my old self. But being able to, have that level of empathy. And I think that you're not seeing it with a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but I'm just seeing it a lot more with younger people. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, Patton Vaughn says more like your early 50s. I just want to put that out there.
You know what? Vaughn and I go back to the lunchroom table. I would go get a choke sandwich or one of those frozen peanut butter and jelly and graham crackers, and we'll have it out right here. We'll stop the interview. We'll have it out right here.
If you guys don't know what a choke sandwich is, by the way, look it up. That's hilarious. No, I you nailed it again. you have to, empathizing with people is a big step in understanding the movement.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big step. People ask all the time, well, Josh, I voted for Obama. What else can I do? Well, listen, that's on the scale of what you can do, that is at a 0.3 out of a possible 10. You know, just because you say, I voted for someone, well, why did you vote for them? Because it makes you comfortable, because you know that they endorse some of your ideals? You know, it's like you're only coming to terms with something that you think helps other people because it helps you. But actually put yourself in an uncomfortable situation.
Yes.
Sign those petitions. Say to people that, oh, I see color and that I acknowledge your color, that you're beautiful. Say, I'm going to be in a Black Lives Matter protest with you, alongside you, and holding up a sign to prove that, yes, not only am I saying it, I'm doing it. Because a lot of people get those two confused when they say, oh, I said, I put something on Facebook about it. Sure, you wish me a happy birthday, but you do that every year. What's different? You know, it's watered down. That is white noise now. We want to see there's a movement, and in this movement, you're on this train or you are not. And you're going to be judged by whether or not you were on this train and a part of this movement, or whether or not you were waving and trying to run after it as it was going toward the station. You will be judged by that. You can't be neutral. It's impossible.
And let me also piggyback off of that. Everyone has their comfort level of uncomfortableness. So you may not be ready to jump right into a protest march or protest movement. Perfect example, Antonella. She jumped right in. She's in Chicago. Antonella Cremonese, I don't know if she's watching, but you know, she saw a march and she said, you know what? I have to be a part of this. I can't sit still and not be a part of it. So she went and impromptu joined a part of a march. Now that's her comfort level of uncomfortableness. Mm-hmm. I don't know necessarily if I would have done that, or someone else may not have done that, but your level of uncomfortableness may be something simple as not allowing stereotypical conversations or jokes or innuendos about a specific demographic, as in this instance, as it relates to Black people. So your comfort level of uncomfortableness could be, hey, you know what? I'm not going to let my friends, even though it's just all us here, I'm not going to allow them to tell Black jokes. Or if they make a stereotypical assumption or start the conversation, well, hey, you know what, guys? Honestly, it's not really like that. So some of that could start on a smaller scale. It doesn't have to be a grander piece. And you definitely appreciate the people that do it on a larger scale, but it also could just be something small that started within your own home. What's interesting is Kelly Conway, who's the I forgot her role with number 45.
Kellyanne Conway is like I think a senior advisor now.
Yes.
Nobody can really tell you what people do because it changes every 2 months from acting to anyways. But yes. Go ahead.
But her daughter, I don't know if you've seen her daughter on social media. She is like the exact opposite of her mom. She speaks out about number 45. Actually, she tweeted to AOC, you know, can you adopt me? I want you to be my mom. Yeah, she's a work. So, but she's starting to have those conversations, and she's challenged her mom and posted it on social media and challenged her mom and her thinking and some of the things that she said. And you know, it's really something to behold. If you're not following her, I can't think of her first name, but Kellyanne Conway's daughter, she's taking it little by little, just starting at home, and it seems like defiance or disobedience, but it's got to start somewhere.
There are people who, and I won't say particular names or anything like that, but it is a shock when there are particular people, certain people who have their ideals. They are set in those ideas and they're not going to move. And then when you approach them about those ideas and say why they're wrong, they talk about, okay, let me read up on it, or let me try to understand where you're coming from. They'll read something and say, oh, I get it. And then 2 hours later, they will post something that is directly against what they said they got.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why it's important. People say it's important to have a conversation. Yes, it is. But it's important to have a continuous conversation, one that continues to progress, one that continues to challenge that narrative that you may have, something that challenges the status quo to say, hey, this is something that you thought of for so long because it's been ingrained in your mind and burned and etched in literally, in the way that you act out your life is based on your beliefs. And so you need to adjust that. And just because you think you have one friend who coincides with the movement, that you are with the movement, that you are not going far enough.
That's true. And you know, let me talk about a group in particular, and this group is out of South Bend, and I follow them on social media. I don't know if they're watching, but Art4, A4. I know you've had an opportunity in the past to interview them. They're an arts-based organization in South Bend. Mark and Aaron, I follow them on social media.
Yep.
Perfect example of empathy. They're both Caucasian males. Yep. They're not from the inner city area. However, they have been able to respect and understand the challenges that Black men or that African Americans are going through, and they have literally put their money where their mouth is. They've hosted things such as Show Tune Sundays, where they are having different performers come in and provide like a song, and they're collecting donations for Black Lives Matters. In some instances, they were matching those and contributing that from a financial standpoint. Yep. Sharing messages, sharing information about Black Lives Matters. And these are individuals who have, at first glance and having a conversation with them, seem to have nothing in common with the individuals that they're supporting, but being able to have that level of empathy. So, you know, A4, Art4, Aaron, and Mark, that perfect example of individuals that, you know, don't have anything in common. It doesn't directly impact them, but are able to share and have a level of empathy and being able to support what it is, even though it's not a direct impact to them. You know, shout out to them as well as their sister and their family, Erica Costin. Another one, you know, completely, like I said, this doesn't impact them. They could easily go about their lives, keep it moving. And
you know what? But you know what? They are willing to take on a burden. They say, you know what? This is going to be tough. But I have a friend of mine, and you know what? I might, this is the part of the interview that I might clip just to send to her, because I think she deserves to hear it, because I don't tell her as much. She is a Broadway actress. She's actress on Broadway. She's an actress. She's just dope at what she does. She was actually a part of, she played a role in Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, wow, okay.
And she was going around the nation, and she's from Canada. But going around the nation and performing this. And she learned so much about people of color while going to these different places. But it's still, she was honest about it. It still maybe didn't hit home as much about what they're going through, because she doesn't go through it, right? And so, and not to get into personally what she talked to me about, but the point of this is to say, when you saw that video, 8 minutes and 46 seconds,
yes,
of George Floyd being choked to death by a white officer, that people still say didn't happen. It happened.
Yeah.
He died from that, not COVID or anything else, not with conspiracies. When that happened, a switch turned on for her and said, that's it. That's why we're different. That's why I need to do something. Yeah. And she said at the cost of losing all her fans and followers, which she has, she every single day, posts something on Instagram about Breonna Taylor. And I still get fooled. It'll be something totally random. She's like, click this unbelievable belly dancer, you won't believe it. And of course, I'm like, okay. And I'll click it, and it's a picture of Breonna Taylor. And it says, arrest her killers. She does it every single day. And she does more than that, but that's just an example. And she does that. And the point is exactly what you said. It's about the empathy to say, that's not me, but that could be somebody I know.
Yes.
That could be somebody I love. That could be somebody that I was close to in a play. These are the things that really, really should shape your conversation going forward. It's not just talking about it, but it's putting yourself in that situation.
Yes.
How would you approach it?
Yes. It's interesting because, so piggybacking off of that, there was an interview with the protester in Portland, and she was from I can't remember if she was from like Portland or the suburbs, but she was a protester in the Portland area. And they asked her why she was out there. She said, because when I heard him call for his mom, I heard that was me. Yeah. I have children. That could have been my child. Yeah. And for some people, the light bulb goes off because it's a trigger for them. Other people are born with it. For some, it has to be a trigger that goes off. But the fact that the trigger went off and she was able to acknowledge it and was receptive and open to, hey, you know what? This is now, like I said, you take it on, not burden, but you take it on that responsibility to now act on it. And I think that's huge. And I think that's one of the things, again, shout out to the younger people that are really taking that on. I've already thrown the disclaimers out there a couple times. But,
you mentioned that. I wanted to say too, one of the school corporations out here, South Bend School Corporation superintendent, I was covering a protest and I saw him and I said, oh my God, he's here. He was by himself. He wasn't with friends or anything. Later saw him for an interview and said, you were in those protests. Why were you out there? He said, because it could have been any one of my students.
Yeah.
And that's called empathy.
Yeah. And that's when I look at, similar situations, being able to identify in some capacity, whether it's potentially a family member or someone or a coworker, things like that. How would I want someone to support them, that individual?